My forte, I guess, is curling because I bench pretty good, I squat pretty good, I deadlift pretty good, but I never actually went as far as I have with anything else except curling.
Hey guys, got a real fun video for today. Talk with Strongman Eddie Swanson, strongest guy in Tennessee, former Mr. Georgia bodybuilder. Talked about working out, talked about this Guinness Book of World Record he set. I love talking about working out, so I was kind of sharing some of my workouts with them and just out of curiosity, some of my numbers compared to this super insanely strong man. I thought it was kind of fun. But anyway, this guy doesn't age. He's in his 60s. You could never tell. Check out the book he wrote called The Real Fountain of Youth. I'll link it in the description below if you want to pick it up from Amazon.com. This guy may very well have found it. So anyway, if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and let's get on to that conversation and find out more about Eddie Swanson and his Guinness Book of World Record. Now,
About
here's a question I got to ask you, and I might be wrong, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. So you basically started off as a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah, I started out bodybuilding, and the reason I quit was because I sent you a picture. I'm standing there with a couple of trophies, so I was.
Sure.
It wasn't that I wasn't doing good in the sport. I just got tired of shaving, man, because I had to shave my whole body, and then when the hair grow back, it would itch, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this. So a friend of mine one day, he was we were at the gym, and he was like, "You still bodybuilding?" And I said, yeah, but I said, I don't know, man. I said, the hair's growing back. I'm itching all over. Girls looking at me crazy, you know. And he said, well, you should try powerlifting. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm that strong. He said, trust me, I've seen you in the gym. You're that strong. So I entered my first powerlifting meet, and I got third place.
Oh
And
wow.
after that, I was hooked.
Now, real quick, I did hear you say that in other interviews and read that you got tired of the shaving the body while you quit bodybuilding and transitioned into powerlifting. I was gonna guess because you kind of made a reference, the diet's really hard. So as a powerlifter, obviously you're not going for the aesthetics and the super leanness. I was almost thinking maybe this guy, even though he's super strong, so obviously you should be doing that. But I'm thinking maybe he didn't want to be super strict on the diet because that lifestyle, you got to admit, is a lot easier and probably a lot more enjoyable than a bodybuilding lifestyle diet wise.
You are definitely correct on that because the itching was the main thing, but the diet was definitely there. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's not fun to starve, man.
man, I am definitely what they call a foodie. I love food,
I can't blame you,
and
man.
I'm like, so I'm gonna be itching and starving. I'm like, no, that's not a good combination.
Yeah, no thanks, man. No thanks. Um, but as far as bodybuilding though, you were like Mr. Georgia, I think, in 1986, right?
Yeah, I won Mr. Georgia. I won first place in my division and second overall.
Nice. Now, what weight class? Like, where did you compete?
Oh man, I was like 100 and what was I, about 160 pounds.
At 5'9"?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
was this a tested event or was it like technically a natural event?
It was a natural event,
Okay.
and they threatened to test you, but I don't remember anybody getting tested.
Oh,
But
so
they
somebody
did.
could have technically cheated if they wanted to.
Somebody could have, yeah, because
Interesting.
I never seen anybody there doing testing. um, all the way up until the competition, they were saying strictly, drugs strictly prohibited, testing will be done and all this stuff like that. But the day of, I didn't see anybody getting tested.
Interesting. Now, before you started working out at 13, did you notice anything where you might have just like naturally been stronger than, maybe other kids your age? Was there any like indication? Because obviously, somebody like you, anybody who has like these, records, you probably just built a different way. I mean, we're small and skinny, but I'm just saying like there's something there where you have the I call it a gift in a way that you
Yeah,
took advantage of. So did you notice anything prior to you ever working out?
yeah, you must have a sixth sense because I realized before I started lifting weights at an early age that I was strong. And the way I came about that is I used to get bullied a lot, you know, and I'm originally from Kingston, Jamaica, you know, and when I first moved to the United States, I talked with accent. And back then, people wasn't really too used to that. You know, they were like, "Where you from?" You know, "Why you talk funny?" You know, and because I couldn't say, you know, I remember one time we were counting, doing our numbers, and I was going, and I said 1, 2, 3, and everybody started laughing. And you can't even count. You talking about a tree? And I'm like, no, no. And I said, no, no,
Kids,
no,
man.
no. I'm talking the number 1, 2, 3, man. You know, and they were like, you know, oh no, you just stupid. You I'm like,
Mm.
okay, you know, but back to the story. I used to get bullied and beat up and all this stuff like that. So one day, this guy was hitting me and everything, and I got tired of hitting me. I didn't fight back. I just grabbed him, you know, and he was a lot bigger than me, but he couldn't get loose,
Huh.
you know. And I was like, you know, I thought about that after I went home, and I was like, wow, you know, I was like, he couldn't get loose. Well, maybe I was just scared, you know. And then my mom, she was a pretty hefty lady, you know. And so I was telling her one day, I was like, you know, this guy was beating me up, and I grabbed him and I held him, and he couldn't get loose. You know, I said, I bet you I could pick you up. And she was like, yeah, right. You know, and she couldn't do what she was doing. So I just walked up and I grabbed her around, you know, her thigh area. And I picked her up. And my mom was about, at that time, man, I'd say my mom was real short. She's like 5'5", but she weighed about 220. You
Okay.
know, now I'm a kid. You know,
Sure, yeah.
I'm about what, 11, 12 years old? You know,
Probably like what, 100 pounds, if even?
yeah, it's soaking wet with bricks in my pocket.
Sure.
You know, and I picked her up. And of course, she started screaming and hollering, put me down. But yeah, I noticed that at an early age that I was just naturally strong. I didn't have no muscle. I was real skinny and stuff, but I was just naturally strong.
That's
You
cool,
know?
man. Yeah, I kind of thought you were, and I noticed a little thing myself, and I'm not nearly like on your level of strength. So I'm like, this guy probably had to have noticed something when he was younger. Like my story, and I guess I was kind of like considered a freak in elementary school
Yeah,
because I was in second or third grade and I was small, you know, but I remember like the fifth graders, and you know, when you're in elementary, like fifth grade kids are huge compared to like a second or third
right,
grader.
right.
But they would always take me to like the side of the school and they had this little bench and everybody used to arm wrestle. And I was like half their size, but I could beat the fifth graders. So
Yeah,
it was almost like I was a freak, you know? But
right.
I will say in general, like pulling is one of my my stronger suits. Now, speaking of pulling, I've seen some of your records for the curl, which are ridiculous. But can you share some of those?
Yeah, well, actually, I have a Guinness World Record.
Wow.
Yeah, I did 70 pounds for 525 reps in 60 minutes.
525 reps in 60 minutes.
Yep.
That's almost like just doing one long set for an hour, you know?
Yeah, man. I got it. I actually still have that on a DVD because when I sent it to Guinness, I had to have people there to witness it. So I had a lawyer, a doctor, and a certified personal trainer as my witnesses. Plus, the certified personal trainer was also the timekeeper. You know, and I had to stand in view of the cameras at all times. I couldn't
Sure.
get out shot at all. You know, and so I would do some sets and I put it down for a few seconds. I pick it back up, do some more. Put it down, pick it back up, do some more. So I was shooting for 500.
Mhm.
And when I did 500, the timekeeper told me, he said, "Hey, you still got some time." I was like, "Oh yeah." I picked it up and did 25 more.
Wow.
you know, and so I was like, But yeah, man, I'm kind of like you. I've got really, really good pulling power.
Well, you're a lot higher level than me, kind of like me. I'm more like I'm kind of like you. I'm like, that's more how it is. But what did your arms feel like the next day, man, or the next week?
You know, the next day I felt good. I felt tight, and that was all. The next day, oh my God, man, my back was hurting, my biceps was hurting, my joints, everything was hurting. I was like, man, so I think I kept the people that make ibuprofen, I think I kept them in business all by myself.
Wow, that's funny. You know what I'm picturing? So I'm picturing the dude who just made this Guinness Book of World Record on the curl, and the next day can't even pour himself a glass of milk. That's what I'm picturing.
That's what I was. And the funny thing is, it was like, okay, like this water bottle. If I tried to drink it at that point, it would be like this.
That's crazy, man.
So I had to take the other arm and put my,
Like this dude just broke a record. He can't even drink a water bottle. But I would almost think that kind of trauma, I would almost think like your biceps would grow like an inch after like a week and you're fully recovered. Like you would almost just assume for some kind of freak training session, you'd literally put like an inch on your arms or something.
Man, all I know is I was hurting, man, for a week. This lasted for a week. And I was like, I swore that day I would never do it. Somebody come break that, I'm be like, hey, more power to you, brother.
It's all yours, man. It's all yours. Yeah. What made you even think of like attempting something like that? Was there like a similar record where some guy maybe did it 400 times, or like did you just come up with that? Or
yeah, it was a guy that tried it, and he was going for 500.
Okay.
And I think he stopped around 4. If I'm not mistaken, it was like in the lower 4s, like 410, whatever. Okay. And he ran out of time.
There's never enough time.
Oh. And so I was like, well, if he tried it and didn't get it, and 500 was what he was shooting at, I'm gonna try it and see can I get 500. And I said, well, I may run out of time or I may can't do it, but I'm gonna try. So that's what basically encouraged me to do it.
As far as you know, is that so that record still holds now? Then even today.
Yeah, because that was done in 2004. So I hadn't really checked. I hadn't checked to see if anybody broke it or not, because I'm kind of like this. It's kind of crazy, but if I ever break a record or set a record, I don't care if somebody comes the next day and break it, because what you can't take away is the fact that at some point, I was the best.
No, that's pretty cool, man. Like at one point in time, you did something that no one has ever done prior to that. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Right. So I'm like, because people ask me all the time, do you worry about the records that you set being broken? I'm like, no, I don't, because what you can never take away from me is the fact that I did it.
That's true.
And I was the best at one point in my life. I was the best. Now you may be the best tomorrow because you may break it, but I was the best today.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
So
speaking about some, so obviously you got crazy pool. Like, how have you ever like maxed out on like the amount of pull-ups you can do in one set, for example?
What's funny, Dave, is I suck at pull-ups.
Really?
Yeah, I
think I got you beat on this then.
Yeah, you definitely got me beat, because if you do more than 5, you got me beat.
Are you serious? So you could literally just use your biceps alone, even if you're not engaging your back muscles, man.
I suck at pull-up. I can't explain it, and I don't understand it, because physiology says that if you can do this, then you're supposed to be able to do this.
Yeah.
I can do this, but I suck at this.
Interesting.
And I don't understand that. But I cannot do more than 5 pull-ups.
Well, I think you're exaggerating, man. Like my wife can do 5 pull-ups.
She may be strong as me.
That's crazy. Yeah. So I actually had the record in middle school, 28. which, so like I had pretty good muscle endurance where I had the record for that in middle school and I had the record for push-ups, 120. So like,
Right.
and again, I was still really skinny. This is when I was 14. My middle school actually went up to ninth grade. So technically, I guess for some people it would be, uh, freshman in high school, but for my middle school, it was ninth grade. So I do remember hitting those records. And it's funny because, I haven't really tested myself that much, like muscular endurance wise, but
Right.
just for fun lately, I've been trying to see if I could beat that on the pull-ups. And
Man.
like my last back workout, because I started increasing the reps and I was gunning for 40. Like I wanted to smash that record, but I got 38, which isn't bad. I got 38. I think I'm going to try to work up to 50, but I'm still shocked. And I still think you're exaggerating when you say 5.
Man, I wish, man. I tell you, I don't know what it is with my body. My body has always been strange. It's like it's got a mind of its own.
That's interesting.
It's like, yeah, I can go over here and curl 200 pounds, but
That's crazy.
I can only do 5 pull-ups. That's all I'm doing.
Is that your max on the curl though? Like a barbell curl, 200 pounds or?
Actually, it's not recorded or anything. It just happened. I did it in the gym, but my max curl, and it was a cheat curl, but my max curl at 198 pounds, because I was still competing at that time, was 225 on a straight
No,
bar.
that's crazy, man.
So and I've been looking at this. They got this strict curl.
I was gonna say Nick Strength and Power has like popularized that thing. Like
Yeah.
everybody's doing strict curls, and I was going to get that. Like, what's your strict curl, man?
And I don't know what my strict curl is, but I've been really tempted to see where I am and where
I
I
want to
stand.
know where you're at.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know what? I might do that.
You might smash a lot of these other guys.
Yeah, because
Very
I know.
likely. And I'm talking about like when I say these other guys, I'm talking people like Larry Wills, who's like juicing like crazy and like 250 pounds guys. Maybe you could build up to that. Be crazy.
Because I'm like, I see where a lot of these guys, is this guy from Ukraine, and he was curling like, I think he did a cheat curl with 240 some pounds, but he weighed like almost 300 pounds.
Yeah, he's like 50% bigger than us.
And I was like, well, if he's doing 240 or 250 or something like that on a cheat curl, and I did 225 at half, well, not even like half his weight, and I'm like, huh.
Another record, you're thinking, like, let me think, another record here.
And stuff. And on top of that, man, like I'm 61 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy. You don't look it, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm 61 years old, man, and when I go to the gym and I do things, people look at me, and I've had people ask me, like, how old are you, man? And I'm like, I'm 61, and they go, oh, I mean, you ain't no 61 now, for real. How old are you? I'm like, I'm 61.
That's funny. That's funny.
And he's like, you're that strong at 61? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you don't even look 61. My dad is 58, and he look older than you.
That's funny. Yeah. Man. Hey, speaking of other lifts, so like what obviously you must have done these in powerlifting competitions. Like how's your deadlift?
The most I've ever deadlifted was 685.
Deadlifting 685, curling 225, but doing 5 pull-ups?
I know, man. I can't understand. I cannot explain it for the life of me.
Yeah, I don't know. Your lift.
I don't know if it's something that's psychologically wrong with when I try to do a push-up. I mean, a pull-up. Because one thing, I've never done them, on a consistent basis. I've only done them like in my 61 years of living. I can actually say I've only tried doing pull-ups maybe 6 times in my whole life.
Wow.
Now
I do a lot of lat pull downs or anything.
Yeah. I do the pull downs, but I don't do pull up now. And that's another thing that's funny right there. On the machine doing pull downs, I have to have somebody to hold me down, but I can use the whole stack.
Oh, so your back is really strong even in that movement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strong, but it's just, I don't know. It's just something about pull-ups, man, that I don't know. I can't explain it.
What about, obviously, you probably row a lot too then, like
Yeah,
barbell or dumbbell. How heavy are you rowing?
I use like 110-pound dumbbell to do rows.
For like how many reps?
10.
That's it? I mean,
Yeah,
because you're telling me you could do 600-pound deadlift. I'm thinking, dude, like, you gotta be rowing more than that.
well, I can do more. I just don't, because
Yeah.
I set them at like, anywhere from like three sets of 10 each arm.
Okay. Yeah, so
So
you're not trying to go like super heavy then, it seems like.
no, because the 110s are actually pretty light, but that's as much as the gym that I go to have.
Yeah, it's funny. My gym's limited to 120s. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I could do them, but they're not like a piece of cake. If anything, it's more my grip that
Yeah.
will give out at the end of the set, you know? Just going out of curiosity, because like I'm a decent pooler. Um I just started messing around with 135 again, which is funny because I used to do it easier in high school when I was 16, but which is funny. But I used to do like 12 reps, but they were like kind of cheating, you know.
Right.
And I'm building my reps up now. I just literally started playing with it recently. But the funny thing is, I could never really focus that much on my curls because I had like the worst strain right here, which I just thought, okay, I'm never going to curl heavy again. But I
Right.
found out it was just like the worst knot that was there for 10 years. And I actually had my wife deep tissue massage it. Took maybe 3-4 sessions. So painful. But I'm like, oh, that fixed it. I just thought like I was screwed, maybe the bitendon or whatever. I'm just like, it was a knot the last 10 years hold me back from really handling man weights. So I'm glad I could kind of like start challenging myself again. But speaking of weights, and I've seen, like you were on the news in like different clips,
Yeah.
like curling 80-pound dumbbells. And I think they were even talking about how you could curl 100-pound dumbbells.
Yeah. But when
That's
I was
ridiculous, man.
I remember the day that we shot that news video. The day before that, I did 100-pound seated dumbbell curls.
That's crazy.
That's why I brought the 70, 80-pound dumbbells, because I was like, man, my arms are dead. But I'm like, but I can curl. And this is funny. I know a lot of people will be like, man, you crazy. But I figured, I was like, oh, well, this is light, so I can do this. But yeah, but I have curled 100-pound dumbbell.
That's crazy, man. I mean, those 70s are nuts, but it's funny that you call them light. I mean, those aren't that easy, man. But I also seen on that news segment where you were curling, 135 sitting down. Now, speaking of that, I mean, obviously you just have natural freak bicep strength, obviously, if you have records, right? I mean, that's just a fact. Obviously,
Yeah.
you train a lot, but there's just a natural, gift there.
Right.
But do you think like the seated barbell curls is something that benefited, or how do you build all this? How did you build upon your gift?
Doing seated curls is almost like a strict curl.
Yeah.
And if you watch the video, you saw that when I curled up, I wasn't going way back like that. I was pretty much curling, like that. And but seated curls, that's why I do seated curls, because it takes a lot of the help away from, like, if you're standing, because you can use your legs.
Oh yeah, that's how I got my 135 up, little leg action. But
So I was like, okay, well, I do them seated, and that'll make it harder, And so I feel like if it's harder, then I can get stronger, So that's why I started doing it, and that's the way I started training, was seated. Everything I did was seated.
Hey, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Make sure to check for future episodes when me and Eddie Swanson talk more about working out. We're going to learn about his freak bench, squat, deadlift, and more. He's also, by the way, a third-degree black belt in Shotokan Karate, and he got his second and third degree in Japan, and he's going to talk about the differences between training in America compared to Japan. So make sure to check in for those future videos. Like the video if you haven't done that yet. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.